뛰어넘기들이 과거에 일어났던 이런 행사들을 배경으로 이루어지도록 관객들에게 제안을 해보는 것이죠.
I'm thinking that maybe it's useful then to think about the publication and the structure of the exhibition to kind of exemplify this.
Yeah.
To exemplify how, rather than saying, okay, the citation of this section, the citation is Baghdad in 1974 in the context of, you know, this union of Arab artists that was formed in 1971 in Damascus. And yet in your catalog, as well as in your exhibition, the subject is actually more about a re-examination of nationalism and its failures. And then perhaps, you know, as we travel through the connection from that moment to the China Avant-Garde exhibition, and then thinking about how the nation state through the China Avant-Garde can be challenged, how this kind of this romantic notion of nationalism has to be challenged. And finally, when you get to the equator section, you're thinking about the imaginary lines that actually connect people. And so in each of these sections, even though they refer to a specific moment, you know, the Yogyakarta conference will happen in 5 years, 6 years from now. It's not even happening yet. In each of these moments, you've referenced different writers about different topics from different parts of the world, and also artists from different parts of the world. So maybe you could give some examples.
So the first event is the first Arab artist biennial in Baghdad in 1974. As Unji mentioned, it was a result of different meetings between Arab artists who decided to have a roaming biennial that moved from one city to the other. And they decided the first edition would be in Baghdad in 1974. It was a very important moment for Arab nationalism, because the Arab nationalism as an identity, or as an ideology, sorry, appeared in the 50s, and then it had a bit of bad timing. Of course, the difference between how the intellectuals and artists and thinkers thought about the Arab nationalism was completely different than what happened in reality. And of course, my motivation of recalling this event is, of course, the present moment in Iraq. What is happening in Iraq? I have to say that there is a Wikipedia page. Every day there is a new map of Iraq, Syria, this area of this region in Asia, that is, every day it's a completely different map with different kind of power taking place. Of course, I'm recalling this moment of Arab nationalism because the intellectual like Edward Said, for example, the famous Palestinian-American thinker, spoke about the Arab nationalism as an ideology that embraced different kind of people, different kind of minorities, etc., which didn't happen in reality. The reality actually that this nationalism ideology oppressed many ethnic and minorities, ethnic groups and religious and minorities, that the result we can see today in the region of Iraq, Syria. Many people are coming now defending their identity that we also saw in ex-Yugoslavia. After the oppression of these minorities and ethnic groups result wars and divisions. And the second event that I'm revisiting is the China Avant-Garde 1989. And of course, as you can imagine, the year 1989 was very important year in the world. And the exhibition happened 6 months before the square incident in 1989 in Beijing. And so it was a kind of revolutionary moment. The group of artists, they called themselves the Avant-Garde, and they were able to get the National Gallery for their own exhibition. The National Gallery at that moment, it was impossible to get it for any kind of work apart from the social realism or from classical Chinese paintings and drawings. And then they give them the date during the Chinese New Year to not to have any audience. But tell me when I have to stop.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So on the contrary, lots of people came, and it was like more of some people say it was like a farmer market, and the police arrested 2 or 3 artists after 1 hour of the opening of the show, and then they also, one of the artists described that they all felt like actors on stage. They know they are making the history, and they know that one of them can be the star any moment. The star was the artist, Chinese artist Chao Lu. When she came into the National Gallery in a very theatrical way, she had a gun, she shooted on her own installation called Dialogue, and she left. The police arrested her boyfriend, who had the same, sharing the same room with another installation. She admitted herself to the police at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then she gave them the gun that turned to be belonging to one of the high-ranked official of the Chinese Communist Party. And that was a performance, of course, not the shooting. And of course, I was very interested in this event specifically because I witnessed, I'm from Egypt, I live in Brussels, but I'm from Egypt. I witnessed what the people call Arab Spring, and I call the Arab Revolutions, where also the relationship between art and politics and the revolutionary moment was worth exploring at the moment. And then I will speak about the third backdrop, that is the Equator Conference in 2022. It's a real event that is planned by the Yogyakarta Biennale Foundation, and it is a kind of conclusion of a strategy of 10 years that started in 2012 of focusing on one region around the equator every 2 years. They started with India, and then they work with the Arab world, and the third period was Africa, that's ending now, and then they will move to Latin America, and then Oceania, and then Southeast Asia. So then they do a kind of the whole circle of the equator around the Earth, and then they conclude this in 2022 by a big conference called the Equator Conference, which has lots of echoes of the Bandung Conference that took place in 1955. By all that participated in this Bandung Conference, many countries that gained independence recently. That was Egypt, India, Indonesia, etc. And I'm interested in this event specifically to think critically about this idea of global south, of linking people according to their geographical location, also tempted to think of an imaginary line that connects people together, and thinking how this can happen or happened or can happen in the future in different ways outside of the post-colonial discussion.